Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're going to have a 1v1 on Moscow Outskirts. Our heroes today are going to be Noise of Carpet, playing for the Soviets of the Red Army, and Thebazookajoe, playing for the Soviets of the other Red Army? That's right, people. We're going to have ourselves some nice Soviet on Soviet action. So for those of you that weren't completely aware of the features in the game, one of the options that is different from the original Company Heroes Vanilla is the ability to have mirror matches. These matches are not auto matches though. You can't have mirror matches in auto match. But if you want to play a custom game and have, Germans fighting Germans or Soviets fighting Soviets, you can go ahead and do that. And we have the Thebazookajoe and Noise of Carpet doing just that. So we will see what kind of battles we can well, I mean, I don't know what we can expect. Let's see what happens when conscripts go against combat engineers and T-34s ram each other. What craziness can happen. So anyways, well, we see, well, I guess we'll just call them by their names. We'll call them, we see Thebazookajoe going with his conscripts into the center. We have the engineers, Noise of Carpet. Gonna run into them in a second or two. There they go. Shots fired in the match. And the conscripts are moving to intercept these combat engineers. Combat engineers are gonna go and probably jump this fence and try to escape. There they go, vaulting over that fence. But they are going to run into the combat engineers of Thebazookajoe, which, they just glance each other and they go along their merry way. So, there they go. Turn around. Psych! I'm not letting you off that easily. I'm going to go ahead and shoot you. So, I guess in this situation, the Thebazookajoe's combat engineers would beat out Noise of Carpet's combat engineers because these have taken slightly more damage. And, well, they have the same weapons, although they are in light cover and these are out in the open, so that changes things. So the conscripts are coming over to support Thebazookajoe. So, interesting. Don't know really what to say as far as these. I mean, obviously the combat engineers are going to lose out to conscripts, so they're going to go ahead and retreat. But it's kind of weird seeing Soviets fighting each other. But, well, as far as teching goes and production, we see both players basically doing the same thing. 3 conscripts off the bat, but we do see now that Noise of Carpet has gone ahead and got himself a second combat engineer squad, and could potentially be using that to tech. We see conscripts jumping into the house to engage the other conscripts on the capture point. Conscripts in the house getting heavy cover. These ones out in the open. These ones would win. Although there is a second conscript squad nearby that is diverting a little bit of fire. But even so, inside the house they're going to be able to outlast this conscript a lot longer. One of them gets shot in the face and falls down dead as dead can be. Look at him. He's kind of smiling, although looks like he can't believe that he's dead. Anyways, conscripts jump out of the house and are going to decap that point. Conscripts over here, conscripts over there, conscripts everywhere. Kind of gonna be hard to differentiate aside from the color, but can't really call conscripts any other thing. I mean, so conscripts up in the north decapping this fuel point, while conscripts down here in the south are standing up against the conscripts over here on the right hand side of them. So you can see how this is gonna get a little bit confusing. At least verbally. I mean, obviously you can see on screen what's going on, but it's kind of hard to describe what's happening. So both conscripts urine to try to rush into the house. One conscript, the conscript squad beats out the conscript squad. So Noise of Carpet makes it into the house first before Thebazookajoe. Thebazookajoe has to run away and is probably going to go cap some other side of the map because in the house the conscripts are going to be at an advantage. Engagement over here from conscripts and flamethrower equipped combat engineers. Flamethrower makes them retreat right away. 2 of them catch fire and they're down to 4 men. It's very nice. I guess once we see tech is when it's going to start getting interesting. We do see a penal battalion hitting the field for Thebazookajoe, so he went tier 1 penal battalion and it now has a scout car on the field with flamethrowers up north getting that a fuel point. And sorry, this is Noise of Carpet's scout car. We saw that Thebazookajoe got himself the penal battalion, but he also got his scout car, which has just hit the field. Maybe the penal battalion is going to be garrisoned in that one. It can also get a flamethrower, just like the combat engineers, and it has 2 more rifles, which gives it slightly more firepower. So the scout car doesn't really have to worry about Panzerfaust anymore. We do have to wait until an AT is researched. And there it goes, the AT does get researched and hits on top of that scout car. But you can tell that it has less damage than the Panzerfaust, it looks like, because it only brought it to half health. Panzerfaust can bring it to half health, so we'll see if another 18-8 has a different damage value, but it looks like the 18-8 is slightly less powerful. So, Scout Car 4, Thebazookajoe did in fact get garrisoned by that penal battalion. Penal battalion does not have the flamethrower upgraded just yet, but it is more rifles, so this conscript squad will be having to retreat, and there it goes. Scout Car is just going to stay there and recap the fuel for himself. Up north, or to the right, we see the engineers repairing the Scout Car to full health. And getting left behind by the scout car a little bit. They're going to jump in now. And there they go. Small skirmishes all over the place. A lot of conscript on conscript action. You know, some people are into that, I guess. And we'll probably see an engagement here from these conscript squads. They're going to jump over the wall, or... No, yeah, they are. But they are going to get cut on the open a little bit by the... penal battalion. Sorry about that. A little stutter there on the screen. We have a... what is this? A fuel cage being produced by Thebazookajoe. So, turns out that a mirror match for the Soviets is not that exciting at the beginning. We'll see how it progresses, but... small skirmishes all over the place. I suppose it's also the play style that these players are choosing to go with. A lot of fighting all over the place, but no big major engagements. We do see this scout car catching this conscript out in the open, flaming it up, down only 1 man, so it's probably going to make it out of there without much of an issue. Still getting chased, down another guy on the retreat, but yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be fine. Still see no doctrine being selected by either player. Conscript in the center getting flamed up. Scout car over here getting 1880 by the conscript squad is probably going to go down to small arms fire. Engineers do jump out and start using their flamethrower on the conscripts to try to fend for this scout car. Remember, you always have the R ability for retreat, which you can just, you know, use, and the scout car or whatever vehicle will always go and retreat. But they're now interesting. Scout car versus scout car doesn't seem to. Oh no, there it goes. It didn't look like they were doing any damage to each other. That was interesting. So, anyways, 18-8 going down, and both scout cars are now dead. So even trade-off there. Very interesting. Conscript's down to 4 men, very low on health, but this flamethrower should be able to tip the scales on the favor for Noise of Carpet. Conscript squad backing off. We do see Guards Rifle on the field now for Noise of... No, this is for Thebazookajoe. And Noise of Carpet actually went for Shock Troops. He doesn't have Shock Troops on the field just yet, but... interesting. So we're gonna see how Shock Troops fare against Guards Rifles. So that's interesting. I guess that's, you know, more data that you can collect, and you know, like, oh look, Guards Rifle can actually defeat Shock Troops, or you know, the other way around. Anyway, not much going on in the field. We see pretty much a full retreat for Noise of Carpet. He only has penal battalions on the field right now, which they are now moving on foot because they don't have any scout car to carry them. There's also a conscript squad down here on the left-hand side on the fuel. So we have the majority of the fuel now in possession of Noise of Carpet. Well, I mean, all the fuel, that is. But he has a 26 income as opposed to 16 by Thebazookajoe. But he's moving in force with his guards rifle and conscripts, and he's going to be getting this fuel point in his possession. And they retreat. So it's yeah, I mean, I guess it's not that exciting because RNG is going to be very low factor here, as opposed to, you know, who wins what engagement. Because, well, it's very clear cut. If you have 2 squads and 1 squad, you know, the 2 squads are going to win. Even though that was usually the case, you know, sometimes Panzer Grenadiers can win against 2 conscript squads if they're, you know, Red 1 and such. But, anyway, so a preemptive grenade goes down by the Guards Rifle trying to intercept those penal battalions, but they spot it in front of them and stop, and it doesn't really do anything. So the penal battalion is going to go ahead and engage this conscript squad, which is capturing or captured that fuel point. They decide to retreat instead of getting, you know, flamethrowered in the face, and very low in health. So yeah, I mean, it's very easy to tell which fights are going to go what way, you know, conscripts against conscripts. If there's an engineer supporting them, you know, they're going to win and such. I suppose you can say that's always the case, but that's not always the case. Something is going down here. It looks like it's a tripwire flare. Nice. You don't usually see those being used a lot. It's, I guess you could say a little bit of an underwhelming ability, but, you know, quite useful for intel and getting advanced warning of things. So we have 2 conscript squads and a combat engineer engaging 1 conscript squad and 1 combat engineer. And it's actually 2 combat engineers for Noise of Carpet, so again we can see clearly who's going to win this battle. These combat engineers decide to jump into the house, which is an interesting choice considering that there's flamethrowers. I mean, they can shoot back, but in the house they're actually going to take a lot more damage. So anyways, Guards Rifle, conscripts, and conscripts on the other side of the fence getting light cover, engaging these guys in heavy cover, although they have to move into position to get that point captured. Flamethrowers versus flamethrowers on the right-hand side, 1 outside in the open, 1 inside in the house. And we do see a second flamethrower being utilized, getting those out of the house. And we do see that the flamethrower on this combat engineer exploded, and they're now out of a flamethrower. So T-70 hitting the field now for the Thebazookajoe. This is going to be very useful against all this infantry, and we do know that Noise of Carpet does not have Guards Rifle, so he doesn't currently have anything on the field to counter it, aside from, obviously, you know, 18-8s. But 18-8s, as you can see, are not actually going to kill it. If he had Guards Rifle, well, you know, 18-8s plus sustained fire from Guards PTRS rifles would potentially do the job, but in this situation, he would only damage slightly, and it hit a mine? No, I think that was a satchel. Oh my god. How could I miss that? 1 conscript squad does get caught in the explosion though and dies, and both of these squads down to 1 man manage to make it out alive. We now see an Su-85 on the field for Noise of Carpet, which would have been great to, you know, to counter that T-70. But the T-70 is already dead, and well, there's nothing on the field for the Su-85 to shoot. It is going to be, you know, a tank there that's going to shoot and potentially get a couple infantry kills, you know, every now and then, but it is not a actual tank. It's a tank destroyer, so as you can see, it doesn't do a lot on its own. Combat engineers equipped with minesweepers went ahead and, you know, cleared out the mines that were laid down here, and I believe even the tripwire. So very nice to see those scanners or minesweepers on the field. Small engagement up north in the fuel point. We have a 2-man conscript squad against a 6-man conscript squad. I'll beg you to say who's going to win that. Small decapping over here. Another engagement. Combat engineers versus combat engineers. These ones have flamethrowers. These are down to 2 men. Clear-cut victory there. Conscript squad up north did manage to retreat when it was down to 1 man. Combat engineers down to 1 man. Is he actually going to make it out? And nope. He bursts into flames, does a little dance, and then falls on top of a bush. So, combat engineer squad dead right there. So, Su-85 is on the field, as we know, and we now have, it looks like another T-70 being produced by Noise of, I mean, not by Noise of Carpet, by Thebazookajoe. So that is going to be interesting. I mean, obviously it's going to be very effective against the Noise of Carpet's infantry because there are no rifles on the field. And, I mean, the Su-85 can kill it, but as long as he keeps it on the outskirts and moving, you know, back and forth, the Su-85 would be very difficult for him to catch. Guards rifle being used to explode. It looks like a cache that was in this position. Getting engaged by conscript squads. The guards rifle should be able to beat the conscript squad, especially with an 8. Goes on top of them, brings it down 2-man, hits retreat. Gonna make it out of there without getting killed. But now we see conscripts and penal battalions charging those guards rifle, and they're gonna go ahead and retreat, while a chalk troop has now hit the field for Noise of Carpet. Brand new chalk troop, but with those PPSHs should be considerably lethal.
Ready.
So, capturing all over the place, no big engagements. T-70 hitting the field for Thebazookajoe is going to the right-hand side. Will potentially intercept those chalk troops, although it does notice fighting in the center and is angling itself to take some shots at these conscripts. Probably at range, though. Well, the first shot whiffs it and hits the truck. It's gonna keep hitting the truck until it blows it up, but yeah, conscript squads are now in pursuit a little bit, but they're gonna get whittled down on the chase. Shock troops getting caught by the T-70. They're gonna go and retreat because they have no means of engaging a tank or any type of vehicle. I suppose a scout car and you know, small things would be potentially engageable. These conscript squads almost gotten ran over, but the Su-85 is turning around. 18-8 going on top of that T-70, slowing it down. Is he gonna make it out of there? Ooh, he's turning it around. Remember, you always have that retreat ability. Just hit R and click, and your car will... Ooh, it got abandoned. That could be a nice pickup for Noise of Carpet. But yeah, remember, you always have the R command, which is retreat. Well, I have it in R because I have the grid keys, essentially, the setup. But right here in this point, we're gonna have a retreat option, which... I mean, reverse option, which you could potentially use. Conscripts engaging combat engineers. The flamethrower bursts for that combat engineer, so they run away, making it out with 1 man left. Did the T-70 get recruit? There is... There's something here. What is here? Is it just this? Oh. Looks like it still appears as an icon on the map. Combat engineers with minesweepers getting harassed by the Su-85 a little bit. Left-hand side being capped by Thebazookajoe with his conscripts. Fuel point getting decapped by combat engineers of Noise of Carpet, captured for himself. And a mine going down, which the penal battalion could potentially trigger. Combat engineers getting caught in the open by the penal battalion, but the penal battalion is going straight for the fuel, and it looks like they are going to run on top of the mine. They managed to skirt right past it. Very lucky. That guy's getting... Wow, that guy's dancing on top of it almost. But they managed to avoid it for now, and the combat engineers are going to cap. So yeah, basically a lot of capping all over the place and not a lot of interesting fights. I mean, I guess... Yeah, I mean... I know that mirror matches in most games can be good and entertaining, but I don't know about this one. I mean, I suppose, you know, playstyles come into a big factor here, but I don't know. I mean, I love, and I've always loved it since the original Company Heroes, the non-mirror matches, the fact that you always had, you know, one ally and one German, you know, because different units, you know, rock, paper, scissors, and all that stuff, and it, I feel like it makes for more dynamic battles, because like I said here, I mean, here, I guess you're engaging, you know, a penal battalion against the conscripts, so you're not exactly sure who's going to win. I mean, the flamethrower will probably edge out against the conscripts. But, I mean, with one more squad supporting, you know, which one is going to lose. And, you know, conscripts on conscripts, it's just about a thing about numbers, basically. It's not all about, you know, abilities and such. Ooh, although that ability was amazing. A nice satchel goes down by Noise of Carpet. It threw it behind the guard's rifle. Took a little bit too long to notice. They hit retreat and ran right on top of it, and the entire squad went up in flames or explosions or death, whatever you call it. But look at them. They're all agonizing there. One's trying to crawl away, make it back home, but I don't think he's going to make it. It's interesting, though, that there's this whole animation about death. I mean, obviously, it gives a little bit more to the game, you know, the fact that they're writhing in pain and dying. But usually you would see that on units in the original Company Heroes because you had the ability to pick up injured with medics and reform squads later on. I wonder if that was something they had in mind. Ooh, mine goes off on the KV-8. Damaging that engine is, yeah, it's heavy engine damage, so it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So it could potentially get engaged by the Thebazookajoe, but he doesn't have anything on the field to engage it. There's nothing. I mean, he has the ability to call in Guards Rifle, which could potentially, you know, plink away with the PTRSs, but I mean, it is a heavy tank. It's going to take a long time for that to do anything. He doesn't even have any AT guns or such. I mean, he has, let's see, he has tier 3, which, you know, provides you T-34s, I guess. That's pretty much the only thing. So he's building tier 2 to get some AT guns on the field. So very nice choice for him. AT guns would be great. But yeah, very uneventful, I guess you could say. We do see a sniper on the field for the Thebazookajoe. That's gonna, you know, help out, killing those shock troops and such. But he does have the armor superiority, especially now that he has recruited that T-70 and is using the repair ability. And then, you know, just walking it away. So very nice. But, you know, very stale, I guess you could say. I don't know. I'll have to watch if I know there's another replay on CoH2.org about Germans versus Germans, and I think that one has gotten a lot of downloads and thumbs ups, basically. So that one might be a little bit more exciting. But yeah, this is not that cool, I gotta say. But oh well. So anyways, we see conscripts jumping into a house to engage shock troops. These shock troops still have nothing. They have no kills. Although there are 2 squads. I mean, this one has 2 kills, so not a lot of difference there. But anyways, shock troops on the heavy covers going to be opening up on all this infantry. There's not a lot that they can do aside from run at infantry with their PPSHs. Nades on cooldown. Another conscript squad jumps into the house. So they're down to 4 men. They're going to go ahead and retreat. So the shock troops didn't really do anything against conscripts. At least not when they can jump into houses. Up north, Penal Battalion for Thebazookajoe decapping the fuel. Engineers at Bet 2 decapping that victory point. More capping all over the place. So, I mean, there's at least that. There's a lot of mobility. You see small skirmishes all over the place, but no major engagement so far. The center is pretty much in the control by Noise of Carpet because he has, well, basically the only amount of armor on the field, armor superiority. We have an AT gun hitting the field, or now on the field, for the Thebazookajoe, which is just being used for, I guess you could say, as a deterrent, not really a anti-tank measure per se. It's just, you know, stopping that KV-8 from simply just rushing on top of everything. KV-8 now fully repaired from that mine that it hit, and is now going to move and harass stuff. So these conscripts are going to get engaged by this KV-8. They're probably going to have to retreat relatively soon because, aside from the 18-8s, they really can't do much against it. And there they go, instant retreat. One of them getting killed on the retreat by that flamethrower. Very effective, very heavy flamethrower there. MG on the tank opening up a little bit on the retreat, but these squads should be able to make it out of there without much of an issue. Penal Battalion and shock troops trying to intercept these squads a little bit, but they don't get there on time, and they're just gonna run back into their base. KV-8 going hunting, it looks like. What happened? Oh, okay. We backed it up a little bit. We have the KV-8 out in the open a little bit, but not that much. Nice. Another satchel went down by the Penal Battalion, but it didn't manage to do much. I think it caught one of the conscripts out in the open, or 2 maybe. Let's see. 2 of them. But, well, nothing that impressive. T-70, they got captured by Noise of Carpet, is now going to go ahead and chase these combat engineers. Potentially even killing them, though, but it looks like they might be able to make it out. They do have Vet 2, which gives them that small defensive bonus. So I'm pretty sure they'll make it out of there. Small push by the infantry up to their front. The KV-8 is lying there in wait. Could potentially catch them in the open. The AT gun, though, is set up and in an angle to hit it, but it is very likely or very easy for for that KV-8 to circle around it and kill it. AT gun gets turned a little bit, getting a better angle on that KV-8, but the KV-8 backs off before getting shot. Su-85 just taking some shots at the combat engineers. Like I mentioned, Su-85 is a terrible anti-infantry tank. It'll shoot a lot. I mean, if it's on the game, if it stays on the field for the entire game, it'll probably get some infantry kills. But look at that, it just keeps shooting and shooting. It is doing some splash damage every now and then, but how many shots do you really need? KV-8 getting engine damage. Not sure if it was by conscripts or mine. AT gun moves a little bit more into position to try to get some shots, but it's now out in the open. It is defended by a sniper and guards rifle. The conscript squad is going to get whittled down, so they need to back off if they want to stay alive. Shock troops supporting the conscript squad moving into position. They might be able to get an advantage over these guards rifle. Nate goes down trying to catch that AT gun, but the AT gun was moving. Shock troops getting a nade on top of them. Ooh, very nice nade. Down to one man. Is he gonna make it out? There's a sniper. Oh, manages to get right out of range before a shot goes off. T-70 popping some shots on the infantry from the side, but getting shot now by the AT gun. I don't think it's gonna make it out of there. It's still in range. Move it out of there. Come on. Come on, back it off. Yeah, he's gonna die. Oh, manages to get out of range. Well, quite lucky there for Noise of Carpet. We have a penal battalion getting pinned down by the base MG. They need to get out of there. There's really no need for them to stay there. They're not going to make it out because they're pinned. Anyways, Katusha on the field now for Noise of Carpet, opening up on the infantry of the Thebazookajoe. He retreats most of his infantry back to its base. The AT gun does move a little bit forward though, because it would have otherwise gotten caught on the open. Something got destroyed over here. I'm not sure if it was an infantry squad. Interesting. So we now see 6 infantry kills up for that Su-85. KV-8 trying to catch that AT gun on the open. It is a slow tank though, so it is going to get shot by the AT gun. One shot goes off, but it is on top of it. Could potentially flame it to death. One burst brings it down to 2-1. Wow. One burst from that flamethrower wipes out that entire AT gun crew and leaves him, with the field open. There is the guards rifle he has to worry about, both buttoning and PTRSs, which will do small amounts of damage, but the AT gun needs to be recruited, and it does. So very nice pickup there for Noise of Carpet, but well, ultimately it's not exactly going to be the best. So a conscript squad on the retreat for Thebazookajoe, down to 3 men. Should be able to make it out of there without any real issues. That is Su-85. Can keep shooting all day and is not really going to do anything. Katusha can potentially be used. It is going to be used. Barrage goes on top of the infantry here and the AT gun. But remember, the closer the range, the closer the spread, which obviously is nice for accuracy. But in this situation, it was too small of a radius because it could have actually caught the AT gun out in the open, which is unfortunate, but well, you didn't know. Incendiary artillery barrage going on top of all the infantry. The penal battalion, the guards burst into flames and have to retreat, so the AT gun is now on its own, only supported by a sniper. Although the sniper has brought the shock troops down to 3 men, they do have to get out of there, well, not quickly, because, I mean, they could actually rush that sniper. But, has to be careful, down to 2 men now. KV-8 going in for a flank, trying to catch that sniper and potentially the AT gun on the open. AT gun set up in the worst possible position. But we now see an ISU on the field. That ISU should be able to fend off that KV-8 and potentially kill it right now. So the only response to it would be the Su-85, but obviously the ISU has far greater range than an Su-85. So even though the fights in themselves are not that exciting, I guess you could say, it is a nice, opportunity to see how the units fare against themselves, even though you would not usually see, a need for that. There is always a possibility, at least for tanks, of them getting decrewed and, captured by the enemy, so you can tell, how your vehicles are going to fare against that. So that's interesting. So say you're in a team game and a KV-8 from your ally gets captured, you can see how effective an ISU would be, against taking it down. Likewise, you can maybe we'll see how the Su-85 fares against, the ISU. Look at that range. ISU shoots at that Katyusha. Is it actually shooting at the Katyusha or just shooting the ground? Looks like it might be shooting the ground, but look at that explosive radius. Katyusha almost down to about 20% health. Needs to get backed off and repaired. I think it actually had some sight range on it somehow. Not exactly sure how, but interesting. So the ISU moving up very forward, gonna have, wide range to shoot at anything right now. Noise of Carpet does have two Su-85s, which he could potentially use to rush that ISU, but he does have to worry about the guard's rifle, which, can pin down that at least one of the Su-85s, which would not be a good thing. We do see, however, even though that ISU is on the field for Thebazookajoe, he is losing heavily both on the victory points. He is down to 98 points, so under 100 points now, and his infantry is very low. He only has 1 guards, 1 penal, 1 conscript, and the AT gun, as opposed to Noise of Carpet, who has shock troops, penals, 2 conscripts, and 2 combat engineers. So, something to keep in mind. T-70 looks like it got caught out in the open. The main gun got destroyed, and wow, that I didn't know, so good to know. It looks like flamethrowers actually do damage to a T-70. The T-70 was at a sliver of health, almost dead, so you can't rely it for heavy damage, but it looks like it does do damage, so that's interesting. Guard's rifle taking down that fuel cache. AT gun looking in this direction, covering the ISU. Conscripts engaging Vet 3 conscripts, so I think these guys are a little bit boned, although the ISU does fire some shots in support, bringing this squad down to 4 men. Do we actually have Molotovs? Molotovs would have been great. Molotovs have not actually been researched by Noise of Carpet, so it's not an option available for him. Thebazookajoe went ahead and produced another T-70, which is going to help him out against all the infantry that is still on the field for Noise of Carpet. But he does have KV-8 and 2 Su-85s on the field, so this T-70 needs to be careful. We now see a bold move by Noise of Carpet. Su-85s moving around and trying to get a flank, I guess you could say, on the ISU. ISU opens up on that Su-85s, takes about 30% health from that shot. 2 shots from the Su-85s go in, but no damage. 1 penetrates the frontal armor, gets about 10% damage in just 1 hit. This one is not in position to shoot. Another shot from this Su-85 does another 10% damage. We see an incendiary barrage being called down by Noise of Carpet on top of the AT gun to deny that AT gun from supporting the ISU. And it goes down. This AT squad should be dead, considering that Thebazookajoe is focusing on the micro of this ISU against these 2 Su-85s. So the Su-85s just go forward, keep on going, and they're probably going to get repaired before hitting the field again. Ow. What was that? Shock troops? Yeah, it looks like it might have been shock troops. Getting killed by T-70 and the ISU at a close range. So the AT gun actually managed to make it. It's still at 4 men, so that incendiary barrage wasn't that effective. It is a very bizarre ability, because it doesn't actually do damage, I believe, on the hit. It's just an AoE damage of fire, and fire, has a chance to crit and, ignite the unit. But, sometimes you can actually just stay in there, and yeah, you'll take some health damage, but you never crit, and the fire dissipates, and you're still alive. And it looks like that's what happened to this AT gun. So, a nice push by Thebazookajoe. He managed to regain map control, essentially, but he still is decapped on the victory points. He is down to less than 50 now. He needs to get one of his infantry at least over here to capture this point and stop that drain, because he is going north to capture with his penal battalion, but this victory point was left uncaptured. Left-hand side, we do have the KV-8 guarding this victory point. It is masked from straight shots from this hedgerow, and catches this guard rifle in the open with the flamethrower, burning him down instantly. Wow, that was brutal. And they drop, what, a PTRS and a DP light machine gun. So nice pickup there for Noise of Carpet. He himself doesn't have the ability to get PTRSs, but, well, he does have a Vet 3 conscript squad. You know, you can throw a PTRS and a DP light machine gun on that one, and that is a fantastic squad. I would want one of those myself. And now we finally see the penal battalion, after capping the map, going back to capture this victory point, while at the same time a combat engineer is also going there, so there's going to be two squads. We do see a conscript squad and conscript, so two conscript squad making a push on the right hand side north, gonna start recapturing points. Noise of Carpet doesn't have that much of pressure for himself to capture the victory points right now, because he still has 358 points. Thebazookajoe, however, stopped it at 28 points, so that is a very low amount of points, which could spell doom for him if he loses control of the map. Su-85 going into the middle of the field, probably trying to see what he can see. See what shoots at him, and trying to get a position. The ISU looks like it's in position to shoot the KV-8 if he can get a reveal on it. Conscript squads go around, apparently. Goes through here to get a capture on that victory point. ISU opens up on the KV-8, but the KV-8 keep it going a little bit more. If he goes a little bit more, he can actually mask himself behind this this house. T-34 coming into the field, and I think I know exactly what this T-34 is going to be doing. He's going to go for the ram on that ISU. Can he? Well, he did, and boom, there it goes. Damaged engine, destroyed main gun. Very low in health, so the Su-85s are now going to move into position to try to get that kill. But a ram, though, ooh, nice critical hit, stuns the squad. What is it called? This is engine damage. So, what was that exactly? Well, if anybody can tell me what this icon means, I mean, obviously it means something about the engine, but I don't know exactly what it means. I think it was like a stun. He got shot, and it stunned them, but no, I honestly don't know what it was. Anyways, so T-70 is left here, immobilized, obviously, with no gun after its ramming, but it did its job. It went in for the ISU and took it out. So there's really nothing left on the field for Thebazookajoe. He does have his T-70, which is up here on the north, and he's capturing around, but he is now getting capped in the center, which is going to start the drain back, although this point is not captured, so I guess the drain's not going to start right away. KV-8 being very brutal, using his flamethrower and killing Guards Rifle on the retreat. These Guards Rifle are going to make it out, however. We still have both a PTRS and a DP light machine gun lying on the floor over there. Sad to see it lying on the floor, but, well, not much you can do about it. Incendiary barrage going in by Noise of Carpet for some reason. Not going to do anything because there's no infantry there. T-70 gets executed by the Su-85s. This Su-85 is ridiculously low in health. It's down to about 5%, I guess you could say. But it doesn't have engine damage or anything. It's just taking overall damage by the AT guns and such. But yeah. Could potentially make it out of there, although we saw the flamethrower on the penal battalion, you know, doing damage. We do see an ability being used. I think it's a strafing run. No, bombing run. Su-85 though manages to back off out of there and still alive. So quite unfortunate for Thebazookajoe not catching a break against those Su-85s. I guess you could say, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, Su-85s are still OP, like most people would say, even against Soviets. KV-8 brutalizing the infantry again. Another squad goes down. This is ridiculous. And there it goes. I think Thebazookajoe thought the same thing. At KV-8, just as good against Soviets as it is against the Germans. A lot of kills on that. Look, 44 infantry kills up to Vet 2. And at Vet 2, increases weapon damage and reduces arm damage taken. So yeah, I mean, I felt it, and I guess you guys are gonna agree. It wasn't that of an exciting match. Very small skirmishing all over the place, and the skirmishes were very predictable because basically it was, since it's mirror matches, basically numbers win. Obviously, abilities can be used to tip the balance in one favor and the other, but here we see that Noise of Carpet didn't research Molotovs. And I'm gonna quickly just jump over to Thebazookajoe, and he didn't either. So that was, I guess you could say, quite unfortunate. If we had seen Molotovs, that would have made it a little bit more dynamic, because it wouldn't have always been the case. Because if the Molotov actually lands on top of the units, then that squad gets the advantage. If he whiffs it and the Molotov doesn't land anywhere near, could have been more dynamic, but in this situation, conscripts versus conscripts, whoever had more win or whoever had more health would have already won, and, very stale, I guess you could say. Was interesting to see the tank battles, though, the ISU versus the KV-8 and such, but yeah, I mean, it still came down to the Su-85s, I guess you could say, so not a lot of difference there, fighting Germans or fighting Soviets. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Well, obviously, if you have any replays you want to send them, I will put the email in the description below, and you can send them to me. But also, if you have any mirror matches that you've played that you think are good, send them to me, and I'll take a look at them, and I'll think about casting them. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed on this one, but this isn't necessarily the case, or shouldn't be the case for all games. It all depends on how you actually play. So anyways, again, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the replay. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for much. Look at me, I got a brain fart. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.